All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making up plays. We're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, ladies. Hold on a minute. Stop it. Hey, listen. Listen. Let me bring in Logan for a minute because I know he's already laughing.
I got a boy, Jay.
Hey, listen. You wouldn't be unscripted if I didn't mess up the music every once in a while. Okay, it happens. It happens. But yeah. So here's we are, another edition of Unscripted. And as you can see, we are exactly that, unscripted. And today we got my boy, Logan Landers. Logan, say what's up to the people.
What up to the people? I'm not showing my beautiful face right now. I'm eating some dinner. But don't worry. I will grace your presence in a little while once I'm done.
Hey, man, brother, make sure you save some food for me because Mama didn't cook.
Oh, I got you. We got
and then we got our guest Chris Gonzalez on the show. Say what's up to the people, my brother.
Hey, what's up, people? Good Tuesday evening here, getting ready to eat me some dinner after we get done doing this.
Well, I'm going over to somebody's house, so somebody better be ready. Logan, you might be the host.
She made a big meatloaf. So I'm ready to eat good after we get done.
Hey, listen, man, I throw down a meatloaf now. I throw a little Valentina's on there, give a little spicy kick, and I'm ready to rock and roll, man.
That's it, bro.
I don't have that spicy kick.
Hey, listen, I love this. I live life on the edge until the acid reflux kicks in and I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, man, listen, let's get into this show. It's going to be a good show. We got lots to talk about, lots to unpack. Charles Oakley comes out and says Giannis would not be able to compete in his era. As a matter of fact, he basically just said he'd come off the bench. Isaiah Thomas came out and said Charles Oakley's an idiot and that he would absolutely dog him out if he came into the NBA. So, yeah, Isaiah supporting Giannis, saying Giannis would do great. Yeah, Charles Oakley saying that he wouldn't. Me personally, I said this before and I'll say it again. You're a product of the style of play in which you play in. In other words, yeah, if you have a Bill Laimbeer or an Isaiah Thomas or a Michael Jordan, you grew up in that era. You didn't have to change your game because your game was influenced by that era. And that's the same thing with Giannis. Giannis, the way the NBA is played today is not the same as the way it was played in Charles Oakley's day or Isaiah Thomas's day. It's played the way we play in like LeBron era, even some of the Mamba towards the end of Mamba era. And that's just the way his game is set up for. It's set up to play the way we play now. Fouls are different. Ticky-tack fouls are different. Everything is different. The low post isn't the low post anymore. So, but if I will tell you this, if Giannis was born during the Michael Jordan era, during the Bill Laimbeer era, his game would be a whole lot different. He would be a whole lot different. And I absolutely, look, 6'11 is 6'11. And if you can go to the bucket, you can go to the bucket now. Yes, back in Jordan's era, you couldn't probably do the Euro step like you do nowadays because of the low post and the way the low post was done. But let's be honest, like I said, Giannis would have elevated his game. Giannis probably would have developed a jump shot to go along with his post moves to make him more viable in that era. So let's not get it twisted. I think Giannis absolutely is a star. Even in the era that I grew up in, his game would have just been different because growing up in that era, it would have dictated such. Chris Gonzalez.
Yeah, I agree. I think Giannis would have adapted, but it's hard to compare the two eras because the 80s and 90s era that I grew up in, the game was a lot more physical. They didn't rely on the 3-point shot like they do now. Everything was more in the low post. So I agree. I think Giannis would have adapted and developed the jump shot. Where in the day and age now, in this era, the defenders can't touch you. They can't hand check or nothing. So it's easier to get to the rim. If he tried a Euro step back in the 80s, he'd been laying on his back. I mean,
and I agree with that.
I agree. It's just hard to compare the eras, but I mean, great's great, and I think he would have adapted to that style of play.
Right. So you're basically agreeing with what Isaiah. You're basically on the Isaiah side of the argument, and I understand that. And I believe even Kenneth Moore said basically that he's not going to do that against Webb or Rasheed Wallace or Bill Laimbeer, and I think he named a couple other players, and I'm like. Or Tim Duncan, I think was the other guy that he named. And I'm like, you're right. I mean, but you also got to remember, Giannis is a little bit faster than those guys, too. Giannis is very, very quick on his feet. And so even though those guys are tougher because of the era that they played in, you also have to equate that Giannis has pretty good footwork, and that's something to be said for the game of basketball. And it even reminds me of Hakeem Olajuwon in terms of his footwork. Hakeem was Hakeem. Nobody's ever going to be Hakeem like that. But he does resemble that in terms of his footwork and how fast and the finesse that he has. So
yeah, that's a great comparison. That's a great comparison there because if he was in that era, that would be the style of player he would be like.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree with you, Logan. What side are you on? Are you on Charles' side or are you on Isaiah's?
I'm with Isaiah, man, fully all the way. Because you brought up a good point. Giannis is quick. He's not just some sluggish big guy who's going to jog up and down the court. He's got long strides. He's got speed. He's got athleticism. And he drives to the basket with the best of them in the league right now. And, well, yes, I mean, like we were all in agreement for, he would have to adapt his style of play more. That's just how different eras go. I mean, back in the 50s and 60s, all you saw was post moves and whatnot. Then you got to more jump shooting. Then you got to where we're at now with a bunch of three-pointers. So, I mean, that's just based on the era he plays in, along with the adding fouls, getting rid of certain fouls. That's just how the NBA has gone over its history. And Charles Oakley, a solid player in his day. Giannis, obviously a little bit better, I would say, with Fouls MVP, a couple MVPs in the regular season and whatnot. I wouldn't have him come off the bench. There ain't no way, because there's not many people, Jay, from back in his era who had, especially big men, who had the athleticism to match Giannis. Could you imagine him on a fast break running down the court?
Absolutely.
Unless you throw an elbow or a clothesline, you're not going to stop him. And that's pretty much how it was back then. And, I mean, he's a decent three-point or a decent free throw shooter. Right now he's about 73%. So, I mean, when he gets to the line, he's going to make it a good bit of the time. So I still think he would excel. I'm not sure if he would be as dominant as he is today in this era with this lack of defense and the amount of fouls getting called. But I definitely wouldn't have him come off the bench. He would definitely be a starter. And just based on his presence and his athleticism alone, I would have him start on my team.
And that's the thing, right? I mean, I see him, he, like I said, he's kind of like in terms of how he's built, he's a lot like Olajuwon's frame, a lot like David Robinson's frame, Tim Duncan's frame. I mean, I see him kind of like in that frame, and I think he can pattern his game like those types of guys. And let's be honest, I will tell you right now, when I look at today's basketball, when I look at today's era, who I think plays like this era but shows flashes of the old school era is Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has got a post game. He's got an outside game. He can go in. He can go out. I mean, the guy, I would love to see what he did back in that era because I think he would be another one that would just flourish. I mean, in between, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just such a complete player of old school meets new school, and then you combine it and you make Joel Embiid.
And another thing, too, Jay, just kind of comparing old to new. Someone who reminds me of Mr. Irvin Magic Johnson in today's era as a big guy is Jokic. I mean,
that's what I was getting at, Jokic.
He's one of the best passing big men, and I mean, if he wasn't if he wasn't delegated to the center, I mean, we've seen him play point guard before, and it's still impressive.
It is
a little bit of speed.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. And
Mike, you have a great comment.
I don't really take what Charles Oakley says usually with a grain of salt, but a lot of people put that in there, and I just thought I wanted to get you guys' opinion on it as well. Speaking of Giannis, speaking of Embiid, and guess what? Speaking of Joker.
That's how we do it here. Great segues on the show.
Let's put our money where our mouth is, shall we? You can start, you can bench, and you got to cut. And let's be honest, this is a pretty hard lineup to look at and try to cut because all these guys are MVP caliber guys. Matter of fact, I know Giannis has won MVP. I know Jokic has won MVP. I don't think Embiid has won it yet, but he certainly makes a good case for it. Would y'all agree?
Yeah, he's on his way to. He might be on his way to winning this year.
Yep.
And that's if John Morant doesn't spoil it with the way John Morant is playing. And we'll talk about John Morant a little bit later, but John Morant's playing out of his damn sneakers. Start, bench, cut. I'm gonna go first, and then we're just gonna go right down the list. And this is gonna be very hard for me to say this because, like I said, we were just talking about Giannis, but I really believe that Jokic, in my mind, is just a more complete guy. I think he has a down low move. I think, like Logan said, he can play point guard. I mean, the guy's so versatile in what he can do. He's got an outside shot. He's got an inside shot. I mean, the guy is just literally a defensive rebounding machine, assist machine. Anything you want Joker to do, Joker does. And that's nothing to take away from Embiid because Embiid is putting up hellacious numbers out there. And you know what? Golly. Because this is where I'm torn. I got Embiid out there, basically carving up the inside, getting like 40-point games, 50-point games. But then I got Jokic, who I think is just skillfully a little bit better than Embiid. I'm going to stick with what I've got. I'm going Jokic at start. I got Embiid at bench. And unfortunately, because Giannis just does not have an outside shot yet, I'm going to put Giannis as the guy I cut. Gonzo, who you got?
It's tough between these three, but I'm gonna go with start Embiid just because I think he can play post, plus he can hit the outside shot as well. He's just a little bit more physical than what Jokic is, I think. And then Jokic would be my one I'd bench, and I'd cut Giannis as the same as you, just because I think Jokic is a more complete player. Actually, Embiid and Jokic are both more complete players than what Giannis is.
Yeah, absolutely. Logan, who you start cutting and benching?
All right, so for me, I'm going to start Jokic. Like we said, he is the complete player, passing, shooting, rebounding. He's one of the better big men. Off the bench, I'm going to have Giannis because, and the only reason I'm going to give the advantage over Embiid, he's won an MVP in the regular season, I believe 1 or 2. He's also won MVP in the finals where it counts the most, and he's the only one on this lineup here who has a championship to his name. And he was dominant when they won it too. Embiid, I got to catch it. I know he's having a great season. Also, you never know with him how his health is going to come into play. I know he's doing pretty well this season over the last couple of years, right? You hope it doesn't rear its head. But, when he started, he missed, 2 seasons due to injuries. You hope that doesn't ever come back. I know he's gotten healthy. And, when he's on the court, he's the way he's playing now resembles what could have been the last couple of years. But we're just now finally starting to see it. So I would start Jokic, bench Giannis, and cut Joel Embiid for my list.
And that's a hard thing to do, given how good all three of those guys really are. I mean, it's really incredible. But yeah, man, hey, I get it. Joker, I tell you what, Joker's just something else, man. The way, just all the skill sets that he possesses. I mean, he could be a center, he could be a forward, he could be a damn point, like you said, a point guard. I mean, he can play anywhere you want to play him, and that's just how versatile that guy really is. It's insane.
And people haven't been giving him his credit this year he's been carrying the Nuggets.
Oh yeah,
because of all the injuries with Porter Jr. being out and Murray being out.
Yep.
Real quick, so Mike Hughes says Giannis will shit on anybody in the old days. And I get that. I don't know if I would say anybody. There are a couple of guys I don't think he can actually do that to in the old days. But
How about a vast majority?
Yes, a vast majority.
Look at that vocabulary.
He's flipping all over him. He really is.
Yes.
Sixers. Speaking of the Sixers, as we did a minute ago, they're off to a hot start with Harden. I mean, they really are, aren't they? I mean, these guys are just really, really stupid. And, real quick, I did want to give a quick stats real quick. On Jokic, he's averaging 25, 13, and 8. That's 56% shooting. Embiid is at 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists, and he's shooting at 49%. And Giannis is averaging 29 points, 11 boards, 6 assists, and he's at 54%. But I will say this, that 54% is a little skewed because if most of his baskets are in the paint and not so much on the outside jump that Embiid is doing. So that is a little bit skewed. But still, man, I mean, all those guys are playing incredibly good basketball, and all of them are pretty damn close to what they're doing. Now, when it comes to Harden is surprising me. And I don't know. It's like we've gone back to the Harden of the Houston Rockets. Because I don't know if you noticed, he looked like he shed quite a bit of weight. He's not looking quite as thick as he was with the Brooklyn Nets. And I'm looking at that, and this is where I kind of wonder, what's really going on, because he played 35 minutes against Minnesota. 27, 8, and 12 are his numbers. And then he goes to New York, plays 39 minutes, comes out and does 29, 10, and 16, gets his triple-double, and is averaging 41% shooting from the field. And in my thing about this, guys, this is honestly the best 1-2 punch in basketball right now, because with Harden playing like Harden likes to play, and Embiid is letting him do it, and Embiid is still getting his in, these guys can go inside, they can go outside, they can go ISO, they can go pick and roll. These two guys are going to be formidably very difficult come postseason for the likes of Giannis and things like that. And I would love to see, in my opinion, an Eastern Conference final that features the Sixers and the Milwaukee Bucks. I think that'd be phenomenal. Gonzo, what you got?
Yeah, Harden's been phenomenal with since he's got there in Philadelphia. I think the difference is he's happy. He's where he wanted to be all along. There's something with him and Daryl Morey. He was happy with Daryl Morey in Houston, and you saw what he done. Now he gets back with Daryl Morey with the Sixers, where he never wanted to really be in Brooklyn. The whole time he was trying to get to the Sixers. I think he thought he was going to get a championship in Brooklyn, and then with the stuff going on with Irving and Durant injury and stuff, things wasn't going. But when Harden's happy, you see what he does: 29 points, 16 assists. He's playing like the player of old, and if he keeps playing like this, the Sixers are a serious contender coming out of the East.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Logan, your interpretation of it?
Yeah, so far this dream pairing is looking phenomenal with Embiid, with Harden. Like you said, Jay, against the Sixers, his debut game, they beat him by, it was almost 30 points, I think 29. He did great, like you said, 11 of 13 from the free throw line. And then in the game against the New York Knicks, he was 10 of 10. So he's shooting lights out from the free throw line like we know. And with Embiid there, I think they shot to – so with Embiid against the Knicks, right? So Embiid from the free throw line shot a ridiculous 23 of 27 from the line. And then Harden with 10 to 10. So both of them together took almost 40 free throws combined, and they made the majority of them, which is what we're going to be seeing the rest of the year pretty much. But so far, right, he's averaging 14 assists per game, which is a career high for the moment. We'll see if he can keep that up. His rebounds are up. He's got about 8.5 to 9, so he's looking good there. He's shooting the ball very efficient. So I mean, 57% and a lot of points too. So I mean, he's looking energized. He's looking happy. Most importantly, like I say, he probably dropped a few pounds with that layoff. And man, with the way the Sixers have already been playing this season, as well as their upcoming schedule, if they keep doing the way they're doing things right now, it is going to be a nightmare for a lot of NBA teams in the very near future, because those two are looking dominant, and they already had some chemistry very quick. I didn't think it'd get it that short.
Right.
just 2 games, but they already they've been playing together for years. The Sixers are a great team. They play the Knicks again tomorrow, and I'm expecting another win there. So we'll see if he can duplicate it. But this time at home, his first home game with the Sixers crowd with him. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. It really is. And like I said, I really believe right now Miami is, I believe, in the number 1 spot. Chicago's sitting at number 2. And Philly is right there at number 3. And I would not be surprised going into the playoffs if the Sixers aren't number 1 when it's all said and done. I don't know how many games. I'm going to have to go back and look at how many games they're behind the first place. Miami.
They're 3 games behind.
Yeah. So it's very doable. I mean, yeah, it's very doable. And I would not be surprised if the Sixers claim the first spot come playoff time. It's going to be pretty interesting in the East, guys. All right. We're going to roll into now the Nets. Are the Nets back? I'll tell you, they beat the Bucks. They beat them 126-123, and they didn't have a Harden this go around. So Harden's gone. They didn't have a Durant. They didn't have a Ben Simmons. They had Kyrie. They had Kyrie Irving, and they had Drummond, and they had Curry. And I will tell you this, guys. When you look at it on the quarters, the first half was relatively, for the most part, Brooklyn, 32-25 in the first, 27-28. Nets took the second quarter, and then Bucks, and then when we went into the half, the Nets just came out on a tear, going for 43-34 over the Bucks, and then the fourth quarter was tied right at even 30. So a really big third quarter for the Brooklyn Nets. Irvin had 38 points, which is a season high for him. Drummond had 12 rebounds and 17 points, phenomenal. And Curry had 19 points on 50% shooting. The Stars did their job for the Bucks, they did, but the bench hurt them. And that's where Milwaukee, I think, is going to be hurting is on their bench. I think their starters are phenomenal. They're going to do well. But that bench is just really killing them against last night against the Nets. Gonzo, how do you feel about that?
I think their Nets are on their way back because I just heard that Durant is they're saying that he could return this week. So you get Durant back, and then they're saying that New York is going to drop the vaccine mandate. So then if you get Irving back full time, that's going to make your bench a little deeper too, because the guys that were starting in their place now they go.
Oh wait, Gonzo, you didn't hear, did you? Hey, let me help you out. You didn't hear, and I didn't know this until this morning. I actually found this out this morning. He can be in the building. Kyrie Irving can sit on he can even sit on the bench. But Kyrie Irving cannot play in home games. He can only play in the away games.
That makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It makes zero sense.
You told me he can sit on the bench with the rest of the guys, but God forbid if he goes out on the court
but
with the same guy.
You cannot go. He cannot go on the court and physically play.
Man.
They just lifted the mandate so he could be in the building, which is really retarded. But anyway, Chris, I'm not interrupting you.
That makes no sense at all.
That makes no sense. That makes zero sense.
Welcome to the city of New York, or the state of New York.
Well, it never made sense to begin with because Irving couldn't play there because he vaccine mandate.
Right.
But players on road teams that wasn't vaccinated were allowed to play.
Yeah.
That makes
it didn't make no sense to begin with.
And now it gets even more crazier, right? We all thought last Saturday, Kyrie was going to be coming back, being the savior. Not so much. Oh, well.
Yeah, so without Kyrie, man, when's Ben Simmons coming back?
We don't know. I know he's struggling with like back tightness, back soreness, one of the two. Phil Tross, what's going on, buddy? He said he's going to go off in his. I'm expecting 5 3-pointers in his debut game. Just kind of a suck it to the Sixers.
That would be awesome.
So we'll see. That'd be great. Just a smile or a wink at the camera after he hits it. That'd be perfect. But just short answer for me, I don't think the Nets are back yet. Like I said, we don't know if Kyrie's how much he's gonna play. Durant's not back. They've lost 14 of their last 17, including last night when they lost to the Toronto Raptors by a pretty good score of 133-97. So they play them again tonight they play them again tonight as a rematch. So if they can play them close, they can beat them. Maybe, but I don't trust them 100%. They're low in the standings. They went on that horrible 10, 12 game losing streak, whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're currently sitting at 8 right now. They're the 8th seed, just 2 games above 500. I get you've had injuries, but it's the next man up mentality, man. That's how it is in the NBA. If your bench sucks, you're not going to have a good season, and we're seeing that with the Nets. Whenever the Spurs went down, the bench was not able to come up and play to its ability, and that's why the Nets have struggled so far this year, and they're barely floating above 500. So I don't think they're back yet. We'll see if Durant, when he comes back, if Simmons comes back. It looks like he's going to play this year. We don't know when. And then Kyrie, how they can do. But, guys, they're not going to have a lot of time to gel, right? I mean, I know we saw it with Harden and with Embiid, like we just spoke about, but it's Kyrie who's, he's barely played this year. Durant's been good. And then Ben Simmons, who's in a whole nother world. I just don't know how that's going to work, man. We'll see. But I don't think they're back quite yet. They got to prove something. They got to still prove something to me.
Yeah,
and right now,
underdogs.
Yeah,
have them as underdogs tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, it's been reported, at least through rumors, not officially. I want to say, let me restate that. It's been unofficially rumors. It's been rumors that Simmons most likely will come back in mid-April. So I don't think we see Simmons until maybe a couple of weeks before the playoffs even start. Durant, I mean, I still don't know when Durant's coming back. I haven't really heard any kind of word on Durant. I think Durant probably comes back, about the same time. Hopefully they'll try to get it back a week or two before the playoffs, just so he can get some game conditioning in.
I read a report that Durant might be back this week.
Oh, this week?
That would be helpful.
Yep. Well,
yeah, I read a report just earlier today that Durant would be back this week, and they also said Ben Simmons was a long way, quite a ways from coming back. So, like you said, in April, but yeah, they said Durant could return this week.
Hey, I hope so, because I mean, honestly, I would love to see Durant back on the court. I never like to see people that are great players like that be benched. I just want to see good, well played basketball, and it's good to see Durant come back. Hopefully, get back in that chemistry role with Irving, kind of get them back in position. And then when Simmons comes back in mid-April, you have all 3 of them there. They'll all be rested, and hopefully Simmons will have his mental state will be good to go and ready to play basketball and focused. And hopefully we'll get some good Brooklyn basketball come mid-April. We shift over to John Morant now. I told you we were going to talk about him, and I mentioned him in the conversation of it should be in the conversation of MVP, or at least in the discussion of it. If you look at John Morant has scored. I believe it was the Grizzlies versus the Bulls. It was 116 to 110. The Grizzlies shot 50% roughly. Morant's career high. Oh no, correction. Morant shot 50%. Morant's career high was 46 points. And he went 4 rebounds, 3 assists. So he got 46 points against the Grizzlies. He got 52 points, I believe, against your Pacers, if I'm not mistaken. Correct. So he's had back-to-back career nights. Sorry,
Jay. It was against the Spurs.
Roger that. Spurs. But I know but it was 52 points, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So he had career nights. He had a career night against the Grizz and a career night against the Spurs. 46, 52. He's shooting 50%. The Bulls got out-rebounded, honestly. They got out-rebounded. Adams had 21 rebounds. Like, what the hell? I mean, that dude just went off for the Grizzlies, right? Steven Adams got 21 rebounds, which is incredible. And the Grizzlies was 31 to 22 over the Bulls in the first quarter. They went down 28-30 in the second quarter, came back, and the Grizzlies put up 34 to 27, and then lost in the fourth at 23 to 31. But the Grizzlies held on to a 116-110 win, and Morant is just doing Morant-like things. And I'm telling you, I really believe his ceiling is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. He does need to work on his free throws a little bit. I think that's probably the one area of his game I'd like to see him improve on, though. Gonzo?
Yeah, I think he should definitely be in the MVP conversation. And if you look at these last 2 games, like you said, he had 52 and 46, but he was efficient shooting. He was 22 of 30 against the Spurs when he had 52 points. And then when he had the 46, he was 15 for 28, but still you're getting 46 points on less than 30 shots. That's not that bad. And if you look at his what he's averaging season wise, he's averaging almost 28 points a game on almost 50% shooting, plus 6 rebounds and 7 assists. So I mean, he's been doing it all year. Just here the last 2 games, he's had career career nights.
Absolutely. Logan?
Yeah, I mean, we've really seen him take it up to the next level so far this season, and he's looked great recently, right? I need to see it for a little bit longer because, like Gonzo said, he's shown flashes, but he's kind of been middle of the road in terms of the other players in this league, in terms of a bunch of stats, points, assists, yada yada yada. But you can definitely see that ceiling is looking a little bit higher by each passing day. Like I say, 7th in the league in points per game, 9th in terms of total points. I mean, when you look at assists, he's 16th in the league. So, I mean, he's got potential, right? We know this. We've seen it. We've seen how he's kind of turned Memphis around. And you love to see it, first off, especially for Memphis, who's always just kind of hanging in there.
Right.
But if we get another season of this, if he can finish strong, I mean, he might come out the gates hot next year and be an MVP candidate. I don't think he's going to get it. I think he should at least be talked about more than what he is. But I think next year he definitely needs to get some recognition. And also, I was going to throw this out here. When you look at him and Zion Williamson, I think we're seeing who's a little bit better at the moment, who's on the court.
Yeah.
Now. So,
and the thing about this for me, I feel like this year's MVP, and of course, obviously last year's MVP went to the big man. This year's MVP, like I said, you got Giannis, Embiid, and Joker. So it's pretty much, I think this year is just going to be all big man dominant. It's going to be hard for Morant to make his case, I think, when you got those big men in there. Right now, we're just, for those people who think the big man or the center is going away, it's still viable. It's still a viable position, and the big men are still in the game playing. Yeah. And I think we're here for a while.
It's just the big men just play a little different now than what they did in the 80s and 90s era. Is all it is. The big man's adapted, and actually, like you said, now they became the most valuable in a lot of the teams.
Right, and I wonder what the precedent is going to be like 10 years from now, because you went from having a low post to basically having pretty much no low post, and to all either outside or ISO or picks. And now we're kind of getting away from the low post, which is the dominant big man spot. What is it going to look like 10 years from now? I mean, where are we going to be at? Where's the game going to evolve from here?
That's the thing, I mean? is that the 3-point shooting is kind of, I equate to like the 90s with all the home runs getting hit, right? Everyone's loving it. Everyone's a fan of it. I mean, the 3-point contest is sometimes better than the dunk contest now, just because it's more exciting, especially this year. Oh, yes. God, especially this year.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to go back to that low post mentality, just because, I mean, you see teams nowadays more than literally ever. They beat it every year, taking more and more threes. And especially you guys in college, guys in high school, you don't see the big, 270, 280 pound centers anymore who are just going to post you up and dunk in your face.
Right, and that's true. That's true.
I mean, look at Chet Holmgren, the guy from I think Arizona or Gonzaga, one of the two. He's a stick, and he's going to be probably the number one guy you picked this year.
And isn't that crazy?
It really is. So, yeah, he's 7 foot, 190 pounds.
Yeah, so they're going the style of Porzingis. You're going to have a lot of Porzingis guys running around the league.
Exactly. And that's just
and the thing about it to me is, Logan, the low post can support the 3-point shot, because if you're the low post and the shot's just not there, if you can't get to the brim, all you do is kick it out to the open 3-pointer that's out there on the wing.
And that's what we see with Jokic, with Embiid, with even Giannis, with LeBron too. I mean, they're not afraid to go down there, and if they have a shot, they'll take it back. You can just kick it out. That's all it is.
Yeah, but I definitely think, like you said, the days of the center backing down into the paint, those days are gone. I don't think those days ever, because there's nobody, like you said, there's no Shaq, there's no Patrick Ewing, there's no Akeem Olajuwon that can back these guys down.
Guys anymore, really.
No. I think what's going to happen too is they're going to end up moving the 3-point line back some.
So just make the court even bigger. Okay, that could work.
Hey, I'll tell you this, though. Ja Morant is just a force to be reckoned with. And I think that guy is just going to be so great. It's going to be stupid as to where he goes from here. But it's going to be phenomenal to watch.
No doubt.
Moving on, should other sports attempt what the NHL Stadium Series is doing? I think we saw something like this with the NCAA in March Madness, didn't we? Where they had like a big stadium and they divided it into subcourts.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
I think got the Lucas Oil here in Indianapolis.
Right. Yeah. But as far as like the NBA, I would love to see an NBA in a stadium because, I mean, good God, man. But I just don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure they can fill it. I mean, could you imagine how much money the NBA? Look, you already know what the NBA charges for tickets. Yeah. You know how lucrative that money is.
What if NBA for like in the playoffs done like stadiums like that? Because then you get a lot more fans.
Oh God, yes, and the NBA would just make money hand over fist.
And that's the thing is that an NBA court isn't that big, really. No. You could definitely. I mean, obviously it's bigger than a hockey rink, but you could fill easily a giant stadium.
Yeah,
full of NBA fans. I mean, NBA is probably one of, if not the most popular sports right now. And I mean, they regularly get sellouts, get a lot of fans go to it. Why not add some more seats? Go to a bigger stadium like the NHL did, and see what you can do with it.
I will tell you, Logan. I don't think that baseball will do it because I don't think they command enough. I don't think there's enough fans that would go to see the damn games.
Oh, especially now, Jay. Especially now.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think baseball is big enough anymore in terms of their fan production to fill stadiums like this. But I do think I think the two sports that benefit from a stadium would be hockey and basketball.
Yep.
Soccer and maybe even soccer. But I mean, does soccer have their own stadiums?
Oh yeah, soccer.
Yeah. But so I mean, honestly, Jay, soccer's pretty popular. I mean, it's the most popular sport in the world.
Yeah, so that's right. So for NFL stadiums, I'm looking at soccer, NHL, and NBA that could transition into a stadium like that. Maybe not all the time, but definitely for certain games. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Like you mentioned with soccer, I remember the other day when Atlanta United, they had like 75,000 people at the stadium.
Right.
So, I mean, that's in Georgia, Jay.
Right. Absolutely.
I definitely think that the sports you talked about there, those would definitely benefit. I don't see MLB doing it, especially not now. The game, I mean, we all learned what happened. Me and Jay are going to talk more about it on Tuesday or on Thursday about all the BS that went down today. But I mean, they couldn't sell it whenever. I mean, at their popularity, they could, but the last 10 years, they weren't getting major sellouts except for the playoffs. But I mean, it's the playoffs though. But maybe especially because the amount of regular season games too, I think. That might happen.
Right. The only time I think MLB could do it is if you had if the Yankees and the Red Sox were both good,
like a big rivalry.
Yeah, if they were both good at the same time,
right?
And I think you could do it that way, but not just like regular games.
I think rivalry games would be great in stadiums.
Yeah, that would be a good idea
because you're gonna get a lot of push. And let's be honest. I mean, and I know the World Cup also uses NFL stadiums when they come to the U.S. Am I right? Because I know Soldier Field. And Chicago many years ago was hosted World Cup. I don't know if any of the stadiums have done World Cup outside of Chicago. Do we know if any of those stadiums have done it?
I can't think that off the top of my head.
I don't think the World Cup comes to the Americas all that often, though, does it?
No.
Yeah, I would love to see another World Cup come back to the United States. And I mean, I would like to see them go to maybe to a warmer climate, maybe like a Las Vegas. I think Las Vegas would be great to host World Cup. There'd be a ton of money there. It'd be a nice, warm atmosphere, and you have an open roof. So, man, World Cup, let's make it happen.
Yeah, so, Jay, it's coming in 2026. It's coming to the U.S. It's going to be staged in Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. It doesn't say what states or what. So
it doesn't give like a stadium or anything like that, does it?
Not stadiums, but let me look a little bit further here. So it says here just the small description. The candidate host cities in the U.S. that I just see real quick. It's Atlanta, Baltimore, Boston, Cincinnati, Dallas, Denver, Houston, and Kansas City. And that's all I can see at the moment.
Man, could you imagine the World Cup in Dallas at that big Dallas AT&T Stadium with that big scoreboard?
Oh, that would be great.
That would be epic. Or even like a SoFi.
Oh, yeah. Man, dude, that would be great. Yeah, we'll see. They haven't selected yet, but that'd be great. If it comes to Atlanta, Jay, we're going to a game.
Yeah, I'm going to a game. But we're gonna. Hey, if they come to Atlanta, Logan and Gonzo, bring your butt down to Atlanta. We're all gonna go to a game in Atlanta.
No doubt.
Road trip.
Now I'm going to watch some of the Big Ten tournament next week down in Indianapolis.
I remember you mentioning that.
Sweet.
Hey, guys, former number 1 overall pick, Markelle Fultz, returns to the court. Number 1 pick by the Sixers in 2017 draft. You know, I said this before, and I'll say it again. We were a while back on Unscripted. We talked about the best run franchises and the worst run franchises. And I put the 76ers as one of my worst run franchises just because of all the lottery picks that they have generated that have not panned out in the league. And matter of fact, the only lottery pick that has panned out is Joel Embiid. And here's another example of one of those that did not pan out. Obviously, we had Nerlens Noel. He's playing in Knickerbocker land right now, but he's not doing really anything. Then you got another number 1 lottery pick, which is Markelle Fultz, and he's barely getting you. And at his career average, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and I'm sorry, that just doesn't cut it for me. It just doesn't cut it for me, guys. And I think Markelle, he's supposed to come back now. And the last year he played, I think he was averaging, he was getting like around 4 or 5 points. So Markelle has not exactly had the splash of a number 1 pick that we expect. I'm going to try it differently. Logan, what's your opinion of Markelle Fultz being the number 1, former number 1 pick, but not necessarily having number 1 pick like numbers?
It's just injuries have really hurt his career. I mean, his first year, he only played in 14 games. His second year, he only played 19. Then finally, in 19 and 20, he got traded, or he went over to the Magic. Right, played in 72 games. He had 12 points, 5 assists, couple rebounds. So nothing number 1 pick worthy, but still pretty decent, right? And then you saw it last year. He got injured 8 games and tore an ACL, and then he finally came back the other night against a win, and he did pretty solid too. I mean, he had a solid game. Overall, when you look at it, he had 10 points, 6 assists, and only 16 minutes. So, I mean, coming off of a major ACL injury, I mean, he's only 23, so he still has a lot of career left in him, no doubt. But, I mean, hopefully you can see some more flashes of why he was picked number 1 overall, but it's really just been injuries that's derailed his career so far. It's just, only being able to play in even more than 30 games just once in 4 or 5 seasons. I mean, that's not much of a big thing to look at there in terms of a sample size. So we'll see how he can do the rest of this season. Hopefully, knock on wood, everything else, he can remain healthy into a full 2022-23 season. And we'll see how he can help out the Magic. But glad to see him back. I'm sure that it was a long road for him, only playing in 9 games for the last 2 seasons, really. And glad they got the win, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonzo, what's your impression of Markelle Fultz, especially where he's been drafted and how he's playing and the injuries that he sustained? What do you see in terms of the future for Markelle Fultz?
Yeah, with Markelle Fultz, I think he was overdrafted. I never thought he should have been the number 1 pick. I mean, you had Tatum and some other guys in that draft class. Even De'Aaron Fox, I think, playing, better than Fultz. But we haven't got to see Fultz do a lot, too, because of injuries. But I think he was overdrafted, and because of that, everybody has higher expectations for him. He had 10 points last night. I know we got to play like 17 or 18 minutes against the Pacers. They beat Orlando's the worst team in the league, and they beat the Pacers because the Pacers can't beat nobody right now.
Hey, it's not their fault, man. Hey, they just blew up your team.
I watch every Pacer game, and they're hard to watch this year.
Hey, let me tell you something, Gonzo. Welcome to my world right now with the Rockets. We're in rebuild mode too. So I'm just telling you, it's gonna be a hot minute before we see the better days ahead of us. But there will be better days, I promise. Logan, you already went. Did you go on? Yeah, you already went on Markelle. Yeah, all right, I think we've exhausted the Markelle equation again. Sixers. Man, I tell you, of all those draft lottery picks you have just had a rough go of it, picking the right guy at number 1.
What do you think? What do you think the expectations are for Fultz? Is he going to be a 20-point-a-night guy, or?
God, you know what? It's hard to say.
I could see like a 15 and maybe 10 assists, maybe something like that.
If he could do that, he could have a good career.
I think he kind of might go the Derrick Rose route, right? I mean, MVP. I mean, obviously, I'm just saying with injuries. But just have a decent season. Like I say, he's only 23. He's got plenty of life left in him. So I think. I mean, obviously, I don't think he's going to be a Hall of Famer or nothing crazy like that, just because I think his knees and stuff might be shot. But I could see. I mean, he's going to be around for a while, right? Maybe he might transition to a bench player, a 6-man, a little bit later in his career if he's not panning out so good. But like I said, I'm glad he's back with the Magic, and it's the Orlando Magic. There's only so much you can do with that franchise.
Oh yeah, the Magic had him mentally messed up there for a while, where he couldn't even hardly shoot.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, we're gonna roll over to Marpet. If I can hope, Logan, I think I might. Do you have the slides on your thing? Because I think I messed up.
Oh yeah, no, that's what. No, you're good.
Okay. Marpet. Let's talk about Marpet for a minute. He's number 28, or excuse me, he's age 28. I apologize. His age is 28. He's number 74. I believe he was a 61st draft pick in the league overall, 61st overall. He's the highest drafted Division III pick, one Pro Bowl in history, and he's got a 93.7 passing block win rate. So that basically puts him 9th in the league among guards, to say the least. So in the entire league, Marpet is 9th in the league. And I will tell you this, it's phenomenal to see how well this guy has done. He played 101 games. He came out in the 2015 draft, and this is kind of he hasn't played a lot, honestly. I think he's got 6 or 7 years in the league. Or 60, I think he's got 6 years in the league. And he says he's retiring for health reasons. And I get that, man. Listen, if you're retiring for health reasons, I get it. And it's sad to see him go at such a young age, but I wish him well. And look, at the end of the day, that man has got a Super Bowl ring.
Yep.
And he's got a lot of money in the bank. So let's go. Logan?
Yeah. Retiring young at 28, got his money, got his ring, came from a Division III school at Hobart College, 2nd round pick. And like you said, he got a ring. He had a good career. I mean, it sucks if you're the Buccaneers right now. You're going through a lot of change. And I mean, this guy was a driving force on your O-line. But, glad he can retire, enjoy some time with his family and loved ones, and right off into retirement with still plenty of life left to live and to enjoy. I know Bucs fans thought this was kind of bittersweet. Didn't want to see him leave, especially at such a young age. Probably could have been around for a lot longer. But nonetheless, he had a solid career. That's all you can say. He had a very good career for the short time we got to see him in action.
And Gonzo, what you think?
Yeah, I was surprised that he announced his retirement. I mean, he just got selected to his first Pro Bowl, and that's going to be a big loss for the Tampa Bay Bucs. I mean, you already lost Brady. Now you're losing your best guard, who's one of the best guards in the league. But like you said, if you're doing it for health reasons or just to be with your family, I mean, hey, he's made the money and he sacrificed his body to get this far. Now he can go enjoy what he put his body through that harm for.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And it's sad to see people go at such a young age, man, because I guess the fan in me is like, man, I wish he could play longer. I wish he could, do more things. But sometimes you got to reevaluate your life, and you got to see what's important to you. And I don't know what his health issues necessarily are, because it didn't really specify it in the conversations. I think he may have had some leg injuries, but at the end of the day, man, hey, you got a Super Bowl ring out of it, so you can't really be too upset with how things turned out for Markelle Marpet.
And I could see this start happening more, that you start seeing guys retiring younger, because with all the stuff about head injuries and all that stuff coming into play, you might see these guys retiring early, because I mean they're making enough money, they can retire and they can be set, and then go do other things they want to do. And especially look at these guys going on TV to be announcers, the millions and millions dollar contracts they get.
Yeah, gotta get
absolutely. Hey, pardon me. Don't worry what's going on behind the curtains. I minimized the screen. I can't find it, so now I had to go back to a different screen. Look,
that's how we do it.
I don't know what I did. I'm over here behind the curtain pushing buttons, and I don't know what buttons I'm pushing.
Jay, I told you not to press those buttons.
Man, I know. He said, I know, but I couldn't help it, Logan. I was trying so hard.
Well, it looks like we got it back on the screen now, so you should be able to flip.
I hope I'm in the right spot, though. Am I in the right spot? Is Derek Jeter looking at you?
No, I just see the unscripted logo.
Oh, yeah.
On the
Logan, you might want to take over this one.
All right, we'll get it working here, Jay, but might as well go ahead and say what our next topic is.
I'm going to say what I want. We're going to talk about Derek Jeter while Logan fixes my screw up. And Logan's probably thinking like, damn, I thought I taught him better than that. But
I got it. Right. You get one free pass a week.
Hey, while Logan fixes my,
you better be on your game on Thursday.
I'm about to say, Jay.
Hey, listen, I'll be on my game Thursday. I tried to do something I thought I could do, and it didn't turn out the way I thought it would. And anyway,
tried to get too fancy with it.
I got too fancy. But let's talk about Derek Jeter for a minute. Can we talk about Derek and the Miami Marlins and him stepping down as CEO? Let's just talk about that for a hot second. The franchise villain. That's what they look at. Or, excuse me, the vision. The franchise's vision. I said villain. I can't read my own writing. The franchise's vision is much different than what Derek Jeter is envisioning. The franchise's vision is much different than what Derek Jeter is visioning. And what I mean by that is Derek Jeter wants more. He wants more to be in. Did I do that wrong? Let me see here.
There you go.
Okay. Now we're back on point. So Derek Jeter, he wants a lot. He wants to be basically how do I say this? He basically wants more of the stake. He wants more of the naming rights. He wants to do a lot of different things that Bruce Sherman and Derek Jeter just don't agree on. And it has really to do with the finances, the naming rights, the TV contract. That's all Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter also hired the first woman GM in Kim Nung. And also he wants more of a financial commitment to the roster. So he brought in the first woman GM in their history. And let's be honest, Miami's had a lot of hard problems, especially with the Dolphins, in terms of gender equality, in terms of diversity. Miami's got some issues down there. They got a lot of issues. And what Derek Jeter was doing was he was helping out that problem. He was giving a woman a shot at a GM title, and she did great. And she panned out great. And she's a minority. So he's doing the things that the rest of us should be doing in terms of upper-level management and professional sports. Now, I will say this. The downest part of Derek Jeter, and this is where Derek Jeter kind of falls off a little bit. He failed to get a winning record during his time there in Miami. Matter of fact, he's got a 400 winning percentage. That's 100% below, or 100 points below 500. His actual record as GM is 218 and 327. That's his record, 218 and 327. And now he wants to be able to call more shots. And I don't know if you allow that because Miami typically has had really good teams. They put out a very good product, but under Derek Jeter's management, their product just has not come to fruition. Gonzo, what do you think about Miami, Derek Jeter stepping down as CEO? Is it a good thing or a bad thing for the future of Miami?
I think it's going to be a good thing for Miami because they need to get the right guy in there as CEO, and he wasn't getting the job done. But I think there was a rift or something going on behind scenes that we don't know about because Jeter's contract was going to expire this year anyway. And then he goes ahead and retires early. So that makes me think that there's a lot of friction there. And finally he just said, I'm out of here.
I love how Frankie pops up as soon as we mention anything with the Yankees. It's like he just knows, Jace. He has that sense.
You know, Frankie's creeping right now. Frankie's creeping until the right topic comes up. And when the right topic comes up, then we hear from Frank. And I love Frankie. Frankie, my boy. Frankie knows about. But I'm waiting for Frankie the Yankee to come on this damn show and talk about Derek Jeter himself.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard for these when you're a top guy like Jeter was or Jordan and like Elway. It's hard for them guys that are up there at that high level. It seems like it's hard for them guys to scout talent and to be able to put a team together for some reason.
Right. Yeah. I mean, overall, not too much to speak of. They did have one, you could say, winning season, Jay, in the COVID-shortened season of only 60 games. I mean, they only went 31-29, so I mean, that's a small success. They got swept in the NLDS anyways, so there was, that's very minimal success. But also, I just want to say, it's not just Derek Jeter's fault to kind of turn the franchise. They've only had one in that season I just mentioned. That's their only winning season since 2009.
Yeah.
So Jeter inherited a bad team, a bad franchise, couldn't do a whole lot with it, really. And also, I mean, we know there's a lot more behind the scenes going on, but I did see one thing that said that Jeter went into this lockout believing that there would be an additional $10 to $15 million that the Marlins would be able to spend on the upcoming 2022 roster. However, that strategy reportedly evaporated during the lockout, which led to one of the reasons Jeter decided to leave the franchise. So, I mean, 10 to 15 million, that's still a lot of money. You can get either a pretty decent player or a bunch of kind of other smaller players for that money. And I don't know if he was lied to by Sherman or what. Like I said, we don't know the full story yet. But it just kind of came out of nowhere, really. And, I mean, I think that he's also, with everything going on, I think he's also siding on the side with the players right now in terms of the lockout situation. So I think that might have had something to do with it, just my own belief. So I'm sure we'll see more quotes and stuff coming out in the later dates. But, I mean, I'm not too surprised because, like I said, he hadn't done a whole lot. And like you mentioned, his contract was going to be up at the end of the year. Like Frankie said, if he goes to the Yankees, that would not surprise me one bit. I don't know if he's going to keep continuing to do the I don't know if he's going to keep doing front office stuff. He might transition into coaching. I mean, he's rich. He's got he's a very good mind with baseball. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he keeps doing something.
And he gave up his he had like a 4% ownership stake.
Yeah, he gave up everything. Just clean. So something went wrong there. Something went way off the tracks.
Oh, I agree. And and the thing about it is Miami, man, I just feel like Miami is just in that funk right now where they're having a hard time turning the page.
Right.
But I do think, I don't know. It's hard to say. Me personally with Derek Jeter, he's been there for what, Logan? I think 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, 3. Not super long, really.
About 3 years, right?
Yeah, 3 to 4, give or take.
Right. And so what I'm saying is, let me ask you a question. Logan, is 3 years long enough to judge Derek Jeter as a GM?
Nah, I don't think so. Only because, like I mentioned, he inherited a team. They were, they got rid of, in recent memory, Yelich. They got rid of Stanton. I mean, I'm not super sure who's on their team right now. I haven't looked in a while. I know they got Alcantara as a good pitcher. But, I mean, you went into a team who didn't have a lot of stars. It takes multiple years for draft prospects to pan out. Who knows what they've drafted in the past 3-4 years, what they're going to be in the next 5? You don't know. You just can't tell yet.
Yeah, baseball's not like other sports where you can just turn it around. Right. It usually takes, like you said, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's my point.
This is all new to him. It's not like he's a veteran who this is still new to him. But no, I don't think that the 3 or 4 years, however long he was there, I don't believe that's long enough. And I think I don't know if it's CEO or just some other front office position, or maybe just on the field as a field coach, like Frankie said, or whatever. But it wouldn't surprise me if he still keeps it around with baseball.
So Bruce Sherman basically disagreed with him giving more financial considerations to the roster and him getting more ownership stake in the company. Do you think it's wrong for Derek to want that? Or do you think it's Bruce Sherman do you think Bruce Sherman is wrong for not giving him a little bit more and basically saying, hey, have a nice life?
I'll keep it short and I'll give it over to you, Chris. Sherman is greedy with his money and didn't want to spend an extra only, right? I say only because in baseball, we know the salary caps are huge. $10 to $15 million more to put a decent, a better prospect on the field because they went 67 and 95 last year. That's not good enough. I want to spend more money to get my team better. And I can see why Derek got upset, why he left. It makes total sense. If your owner, the guy who pays the players, doesn't want to give you more money to help get the team to a better record and maybe try and get in the playoffs, I wouldn't want to be. I'd be frustrated. I would want to leave. And like plus he said, with his contract coming up, I mean, he just felt it was right to just cut it all together, get rid of his ownership stakes too, and be done with this. I don't blame him. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I don't blame him either because I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan, so I'm also a fan of a small market team.
Yeah,
and we do the same thing. We'll look like we're going to get good, and then boom, it's a rebuilding again. You got to have some patience, and that's something that you don't see in professional sports in the front office anymore, especially in baseball. Baseball is a sport of failure anyway. I mean, if you hit the ball 30% of the time, you're considered great.
Yep.
So I mean, I think the ownership should have a little bit more patience and let.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's my whole thing. Right. And I agree with you, Chris. And that's my point. That's why I was asking Logan when he was going, is 3 years really? And I think that's too short. I don't, like you said, you're developing your farm system. You're still bringing in free agents. You're trying to work within the constraints of the financial budget that your owner's given you. And I think 3 years to me is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Gotta love it.
He said Frankie the Yankee came out for a minute. Hey, that's all right. Hey, listen, we like Frankie the Yankee. He can come anytime he wants.
He's a Reds fan.
I'm about to say, Frankie, you better be sticking around because, Jay, we got a classic matchup next.
Yeah, we do. Hey, last topic of the night, folks. Last topic of the night. Let's go, baby. Let's talk about this. Classic match review. Midnight Express versus the Rock and Roll Express. Logan, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to guesstimate. This is WWE, and I'm going to guesstimate this is probably in the 80s. Am I right?
All right. Let me pull it up here. Jay, it was the NWA in 1990.
Okay. NWA, I watched the match. I just didn't get all the – okay. So it's NWA, 1990, Rock and Roll versus Midnight. And what I took away from this was – there was a lot of pulling of the hair. They look, these dudes had mullets for days. And if you look at these guys now, and if you compare to what they look like then, it's like night and day. I mean, these dudes look rough, Logan. If you see these dudes now, they look rough. But anyway, Rock and Roll Express started off quick. Midnight picked up the pace and get a lot of reverse slams, a lot of suplexes, and a lot of chopping in the throats, and they threw in a few drop kicks. Yep. The manager, and I don't know his name, the manager with the tennis racket, what's his name, Logan?
Jim Cornette.
Jim Cornette, thank you. I tried to write it down, I couldn't get it. So Jim Cornette with Midnight takes his tennis racket and hits him. Freebirds come in and slam basically head first the Rock and Roll Express into the canvas. I'm going to tell you right now. And then, of course, that's how it ended. They pinned up Bobby and they put him in a pin, and the game was over with. But that was after Freebirds. That's the one group I do know because Freebirds used to be with WWF, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where I think. When I left wrestling many years ago, before Logan and these guys got me back into it, was when the Freebirds were with WWF. And I think WWF was kind of where I left wrestling and then went into other things. But I do remember the Freebirds. And when I saw him come into the ring and hit him, I was like, oh, my God. It's like throwbacks. I remember. Now, this guy, Rock and Roll, Midnight, I didn't really have a clue who these guys were. But the Freebirds I did, and I felt, at least for that particular moment in time, I felt relevant, and it was pretty cool.
That's why I picked the match for you, Jay.
And I appreciate it. Gonzo, because I want Logan to wrap this up, because this is Logan's baby. Logan is my teacher right now. But Gonzo.
Mentor.
He's my mentor, my sensei, whatever title you want to call him. But Gonzo, what was your impersonation of this match? Do you remember this match? I know I didn't give you enough time to watch it.
Oh, I watched it a couple times before we got on, but I'd seen it before.
Right.
But it was crazy because I didn't even know we was going to talk about the Rock and Roll Express, and I actually have a Rock and Roll Express T-shirt on.
Look at this! This is so cool. How great is that timing?
I had it on this morning from my other shows, but what I took away from it, you got two of the best tag teams in the history of wrestling. There, Rock and Roll Express was 9-time NWA champions. They're WWE Hall of Famers. I remember, I think the Midnight Express I think they're in the Hall of Fame as well.
Yep.
And then, dude, the way they worked the crowd. When you were watching that match, if you listened, that crowd was chanting rock and roll the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's anybody that works the crowd better than Ricky Morton. And then I got to see him do it 2 weeks ago live.
Yeah.
Still, and they're in their 70s. They've been doing it for 40 years. They're on the independent circuit now, still traveling around wrestling. I saw him wrestle the top team in one of the top teams in Indiana 2 weeks ago. We was actually live streaming the show, but and they can still go, and the crowd was the same way, chanting the rock and roll the whole time. But if you watch the match, and like Jim Cornette, to me, he's one of the best hill managers there's been. I listen to his podcast a lot too, but it's just two. But you got to see actually three of the best tag teams that there's been when you count that the Fabulous Freebirds came in at the end.
Yeah, and Frankie the Yankee comes in and says, Chris, you need to be with us during WrestleMania, April 2nd and April 3rd. And Frankie, if you already knew you're in the group chat, you know that Chris is going to be here. So I don't know why we're having this conversation when you know Chris is going to be here. Chris, if you're not here, I'm going to be very upset.
We're going to go to Indiana and drag you on here ourselves.
We're going to come find you, Chris.
Oh, yeah. I'll be there. I watch WrestleMania every year, so I'll be
there. I know you'll be there. Hey, I know you'll be there. You'll be right here, and we're all going to be watching it on Peacock because we're cheap. We're cheap, and we're not going to pay for it. Damn it! I'm taking it back.
Hey, I paid $70 a piece for enough of them for years. So
yeah.
It's nice now just have to have the network.
Hey, Chris said I paid for enough WWE WrestleManias that I could put both my kids in college.
I can't remember the last time I didn't watch a WrestleMania. I mean, it's my dad. It's my dad's Super Bowl, so my dad will have a bunch. He cooks food and everything. So yeah, WrestleMania is always a big deal for us.
Our boy Sander Arroyo Sanchez coming in clutch at the end of the show, saying the biggest upset of all time was Y2J Chris Jericho beating The Rock and Stone Cold. Jay, get this, at the same pay-per-view on the same night. Just saying. So we might need to throw that one in there for you for a longer match.
For those of you that don't know, Logan, and this is what I do know. This is what I can add to this conversation. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me go here first. Vince didn't want Y2J to win it because he was so mad. Here's the deal. I saw Chris Jericho not that long. For those of you that don't know.
He's still going. He's still wrestling.
No. Well, for you that don't know, Chris Jericho actually has a rock band.
Yep. I'm going to see him in April.
Yes, and my wife, who I bought concert tickets for, and I couldn't go for unspecified reasons. Only Logan and Frankie know those unspecified reasons. But she got to go, and Chris, I'll fill you in some other time. Fozzy, she went to go watch Fozzy. Then Chris Jericho came out, and my wife said to me, babe, you're not going to believe this. Chris Jericho comes on stage in Georgia in the summer, and it's hot, and he's got a full leather jacket on, and he's got leather gloves and leather pants, and he looks so hot, but he put on a pretty damn good show, and he was hot, and I was bothered. And I'm like, baby, that's okay. It's all good.
I'm going to watch Fozzy. Actually, I think it's April 1st. They're going to be here in Indiana, so I'm going to watch them April 1st.
Sander is not a fan of Fozzy, apparently.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'll be honest with you. I never have really truly heard Fozzy. I sent the wife there because honestly, he played in Savannah, and it was really not that expensive to go see him. I think I paid maybe for my wife and my daughter to go see Fozzy. I think I paid maybe $40 for the both of them, and they got to see about 4 or 5 different bands.
I think we paid like $25 for our tickets.
Yeah, so it's not like you're paying like a crap ton of money at all.
And let's just be real here. I mean, they might have a few good songs or whatever, but the 99% of the reason people go is to see Chris Jericho as they watch him wrestle.
Well, that's exactly why they go. I will tell you this, Logan.
And they want to hear his song.
Yep. My wife took videos, right? She did videos, and then I got to see the videos of Chris Jericho in concert, and it really is. If you see the guys that Chris Jericho plays with, They all look like they're on methamphetamines.
Oh, shit.
They really do. They look like they're on crystal meth, and they look rough. Like they look rough. But Chris Jericho comes out looking healthy as a horse, so I don't get it. Whatever.
I'm about to say, Jay, do you understand how much of an egomaniac he is, Jay? His theme song in AEW, right, where he was a former world champion, is from the band Fozzy, the band that he sings for. That's his theme song each and every week at AEW shows, and the fans sing it live. And it is fun. I've done it before when they came to Atlanta. It's fun to sing, and that's probably their best song in 15 years. I'm just saying.
About the only song anybody really knows.
Yeah, you're not
All
wrong.
right, real quick. Hey, I'm gonna go. Look, I can't. My dream matches are back in the day. They're so far back. I don't even think Sandro Arroyo Sanchez. I like saying that name. Let me just say it. Sandro Arroyo Sanchez. I like saying that name. Sandro Arroyo Sanchez. Look, I don't remember a lot of that. My stuff was probably before you were born. So what I want is the resident experts. I want the experts. And what I mean by experts, Frankie's not here, so he can't say, unless he wants to put in the comments. But Logan and Chris will go first. Logan, you wrap it up. Dream matches. Sandro Arroyo Sanchez wants to know what your dream matches are. Chris, Gonzo, what is your all-time dream match?
So a match that's never happened before then?
Yep.
Ooh.
Got to roll the R's, Jay.
I would probably go
Arroyo Sanchez.
I'm gonna go with a tag team match here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Rock and Roll Express against the Hardy Boys.
The Rock and Roll Express against the Hardy. You know what? I remember the Hardy Boys.
Okay, there we go. We're jogging that memory of Jay.
Wow, I do remember the Hardy Boys. Okay, so that's your dream match. Okay. And Frankie, please put your dream match so Sandro Arroyo Sanchez can see your dream match. Logan, dream match. What would you want to see?
All right, I'm going to go with a technical matchup of old school and new school. I'm going to go with Bret the Hitman Hart versus Bryan Danielson in a 60-minute Iron Man match. Throw a stipulation in there, too.
That'd be a good one.
I'm going to say this. Logan.
Throw AJ Styles in there, too. That'd be a
that would be a good one. Let me ask you a question, Logan. And Gonzo, you chip into right now, and we're just going to stick with WWE. We're not going to worry about AEW. We're just going to focus on WWE. Who is the best tag team duo in WWE?
Ooh.
That's a good question. I mean, they're kind of weak right now.
Right now, I would probably go. I like the tag team I like right now is RK Bro with Orton and Riddle.
Okay, I'll go with the Usos. I'll go with them.
Yeah, Usos are good too.
Okay, so we got some more.
I heard you say Riddle. Who was the first one?
Hey, that's who's the best? Who do you think the best wrestler in the world right now is?
Oh, you're putting Jay on the spot here. Oh, that's tough.
Frankie Hughes Jr. said the Dudleys. I don't even know who the Dudleys are.
I say.
Jay, I'm off the air, of course, because if we put it on the air, we're going to get kicked off immediately. I have a Dudleys promo from you from back in the 90s that it will. It's up to your standard, we'll say. Okay, he's got The Rock and Roman Reigns as his tag team or his dream match. Okay, so see, that's the thing. Best wrestler, that's a lot to go with that because that means you got to do it on the mic. You got to have a good ring ability. You got to have just a look. I don't know. Oh, man.
I think mine right now is Bryan Danielson.
Okay, since you're going to go that route, I'll go kind of a different route because that was who I was thinking of too. But to me, if you throw just wrestler in total, just all the above, I'm going to go Roman Reigns only because he's better on the mic, he's better in the ring, and he's got a good mainstream appeal right now. So I'll go that just a different route.
And I think
he's got Kenny Omega. Okay, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of ways you can interpret this. Though.
Hey, I'm gonna go. My dream match, and we're talking about tag team matches. My dream match would be the Hardy Boys versus the Freebirds.
Okay, there you go. That's
what I'm gonna go with. I want the Hardy Boys versus the Freebirds. And my all-time best wrestler of all time ever, I'm going to say, and good God, you know what? I'm going to go with a new guy. It used to be my favorite wrestler as a kid because I got to go with when I came up as a kid. When I came up as a kid was a big-ass 4x4, whatever the hell he had a big, was Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I just liked how he carried that piece of wood and he was like all in your face.
And he's a great guy. I've got to meet him. He's a great guy too.
Is he a good guy? He seems like a good guy. And let's be honest, Gonzo, your beard is not that far off from him, so let's go, baby. But no, honestly,
could be up there is Randy Orton. Randy Orton.
Yeah, Randy Orton. Yeah.
I mean,
but I think if we're talking about current, since I've been watching wrestling as of late, my favorite wrestler right now is Brock Lesnar. I just think Brock is just an amazing specimen, especially after what he did at the Elimination Chamber. Even though I know Bobby Lashley wasn't there because of the concussion that he suffered, Brock Lesnar is just a beast, man. And let me be honest, staged, not staged, storyline, no storyline. In real life, Brock Lesnar is going to roll to those dudes anyway, regardless of if the storyline or not. Huh?
There's a reason he's a former UFC champion, Jay.
Oh, exactly. And I just love Brock Lesnar. I like him with the cowboy hat. He just looks cool when he comes in. And he reminds me of a really huge Stone Cold Steve Austin, but just a bigger version of it.
Have you ever seen his national championship match in college?
No.
You need to go check that out and see how big he was in college when he wrestled.
He was huge.
Yes.
Okay, man, we're getting a bunch of comments. Okay, Sanders said the best superstar of all time. He's got Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, or Chris Jericho. Okay. He said he used to say Hacksaw. He's like, he also said, yeah. Oh.
That's exactly what you get, though. USA. I'm telling you. I love it.
Brock is who we send when the aliens have to have a battle for a planet. Yeah, they pretty much. That's who we send. So you think, Jay? Oh, God. Yeah, Jay. If you like Brock Lesnar, don't watch that match.
Brock versus Goldberg? Really?
There's a story I'm going to have to give you. There's a story I'm going to give you behind the scenes on that match.
No, that's fine. Hey, I'm willing. Hey, listen, I'm willing to listen. It's all good. And he says horrible. WrestleMania 20 was horrible. Listen.
If you talk about the best wrestler in the world, you have to have Ric Flair, or best wrestler ever. You gotta have Ric Flair's name in there too.
I know, and watch this. I just watched Charlotte Flair at the elimination match, who did quite well. I mean, Charlotte Flair. Oh my God.
Well, that's there's a reason she got that last name.
Yep. She can go.
All right, folks. Here's the deal.
Yeah, let me get my thoughts on this match, Jake, because we got way off topic.
Yeah,
hey, listen, when it comes to WrestleMania, I get it. It's easy to go off topic on this because you can talk about all kinds of things. First of all, what I want to say is, Sander Royo Sanchez, you are my Facebook friend. I will extend the invite. Me and you will message back and forth, and we will get you on this show because I would love to get your opinions on some of this wrestling topics and, of course, the sporting topic. So we'll make that happen. Sandra, if you want to come on, we'll make that happen. And again, if you want, whatever you want to hear me, Chris, Logan, Frankie, Jay, Robert Strike, whoever, talk about whatever you want to talk about, put it in the comments. I promise you, if you put it in the comments, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to analyze it. We're going to break it down. It's going to be a lot of good time because we like talking with you guys. As we sign off for the show today, first of all, I want to thank Gonzo for coming on the show. Gonzo, we love you, man. You're a big part of ASAP, and you're a big part of this show. We appreciate you. And anytime you want to come on this show, you know I will always give you the link. And if you want to pop in, you pop in. And if you don't pop in, it's okay. Look, you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to give you the link every week. And if you want to pop in, you pop in. If you don't, it's okay. No explanation. It's just there if you want to pop in and say some things. Maybe you want to get some things off your chest. Maybe things aren't going right at home. Listen, I'm a resident psychologist. Logan's kind of sort of a therapist. And we really work out well with each other. We can probably get your life squared away. I don't know. I can't make that promise. But we're here for you. And I think you know we're here for you.
That's
Logan, first, Gonzo. I know you have your own podcast, so this is your time to plug whatever it is you want to say about yourself, your podcast, what you thought about the show. If you hate me, if you don't like Logan's haircut, this is your time to say it.
First of all, before we go off, we got to get Logan's comment on this match. But
yeah, my bad. Logan, did we not get you?
We did not, Jay. Well, it's all right. I was going to get my final thoughts, but it's all good.
No, Logan, please. The floor is yours.
These guys probably wrestled 500 times throughout the 80s. And Jay, the crazy part is you see them all on the screen. They're all in their 30s at this point. They look like they're a little bit older than that. That's just how generations have passed and look different, right? I mean, good match. Like I said, I just found a random one that I could find on YouTube that was kind of short for 10 minutes. And good, like I said, quality match. You're going to see this with every match they have is going to be good. Got some interference, too, from the Freebirds. Got to love it. Got the loaded tennis racket with Cornette. Didn't work out. Also, you forgot to mention one thing, Jay, that I'm surprised you didn't comment on. The referee doing the leapfrog. Whenever he flung him into the ropes, he jumped over him, ducked under him, and
I guess I missed that. Damn.
Yeah.
I'll have to, hey, listen, that's okay. I gotta go back and rewatch. I'm gonna rewatch it again. It's okay.
Yeah. And I did in preparation. I did find this picture that I got from I think a Pro Wrestling Tees crate where I got like T-shirts and magnets. I also got a signed picture, and I'm gonna put up to the screen here, everyone, as you can see. I have the Rock and Roll Express here, Robert Gibson, Ricky Morton. Signed photos with, I believe, maybe probably the NWA titles or something along those lines. So there it is.
I was trying to find the right.
That's cool. I just got a picture signed from them 2 weeks ago when they were here in town.
Nice. There's that beautiful mug right there.
Hold on. I think I did it right, but I'm not sure.
Just keep clicking through. Nope.
Damn.
Come on,
I'm clicking on your face. I'm clicking on the thing. I don't know
why.
No.
Click on the one in the middle that has just not that. Hold on. That's fine. Just leave it. We'll leave it there.
Throw it up again. Show it up one more time. But the thing that you were showing, show it up one more time.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me grab it. Yeah. There you go. Got the photo.
Oh, damn! Go back. Go a little lower.
What was that?
Go a little lower.
Yeah.
No, yeah, there you go. That's a Rock and Roll Express.
Yep. Signed photo.
That's cool.
Okay, like look how young they look in that picture.
Let's do a comparison here.
And look how much. That's how they look.
Exactly. That's my point.
Day and night.
They ain't got all that hair no more. Especially
they're holding on to
Bobby.
Is
it beautiful, Bobby?
No, this is the Rock and Roll Express.
No, but which one is the dark-haired one? Not the blonde, but the dark-haired one. What's his name?
Robert Gibson.
Robert Gibson. Look how much hair Robert Gibson has in the after picture.
Yeah.
This is what they signed for me last weekend.
Wow, that's pretty cool though. That's
Jay,
that's
means
pretty
you gotta
awesome.
Get one now to complete the trio. You got to find.
Hey, listen! I'm automatically envying you guys because that's pretty cool, man.
Hey, I have a chair from a Royal Rumble that's signed by Edge and Jim Ross.
Oh, you got to bring that one out for Mania. Yeah, that's what you got to say for WrestleMania.
Yep.
Hey, let me get these last three comments in. We got Arroyo Sanchez. My uncle's favorite was Doink the Clown. Y'all remember? I don't remember Doink the Clown. Does anybody remember that?
Oh yeah, I've met Doink before.
Oh shit! Okay.
There was many versions of him.
Yep. I got to meet the original Doink. He came on and done an independent show for us.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Nice. You know what? And like I said, hey, Gonzo, I got a long way to go, brother. I really have a long way to go to really round out my wrestling experience. But I will say this, between Frankie Cruz Jr. and Logan Landers, they have got me on point in the right direction. And I think Gonzo is going to be a great addition when he comes on the show because he's going to be another one of those guys that can reinforce wrestling in my history. And so it's going to be amazing. Logan, I'm sorry, man. I apologize. Logan, I'm sorry. I guess I got so hyped up in the moment I forgot you didn't go. I'm sorry. Can you forgive me?
It's all good. It's all right, Jay. And I will go ahead and put a topic out there, Jay, that we are going to cover on this upcoming Thursday because this Sunday, AEW Revolution's pay-per-view is going on. So we will cover either Thursday or Saturday doing our match predictions. And then on Tuesday, we're covering the fallout. So, Jay, there you go. There's a spoiler right there on the show.
All right. And, hey, look, folks, there you got it. From Logan, our executive producer, our number one uno amigo, the number one guy in our lands and our loves and our lives, Logan Landers has spoken the truth. Gonzo. Now I think we're okay because I've covered Logan. Now you can give whatever it is you want to say this is your time. By the way, I love your microphone. I'm going to get one of those. I'll talk more about that offline. But
first thing, for our wrestling podcast, GWR Gonzo's Wrestling Room, you can find that on Apple Podcast, Anchor Podcast, most major podcast platforms, and the video versions on YouTube. But we're doing a new episode comes out every Sunday at 9 a.m. But right now we're asking people to send us their top 10 tag teams of all time. And on this new episode coming out this week, we're going to talk about it and kind of come up with a list of the best tag teams of all time. So
and your name of your podcast is called GSR, correct? GSR podcast?
Well, we have the GSR podcast, and we also have GWR, which is Gonzo's Wrestling Room.
Oh, okay, so you got GSR, and then you got GWR.
Yes.
So you got two different podcasts. So, hey, listen, guys, if you want to see Gonzo, you can go to GSR, or you can go to GWR, and you're going to find Gonzo there. And let me tell you something. Gonzo's he's a hell of a good guy. And I love talking with him, and you're going to like talking with him. You're going to like the content that he puts out, because I have been on his show, and his content is really amazing. Logan, final words before we sign off.
Final words. Thursday is going to be a thrashing of MLB for me.
Yes.
That's it.
Me as well, because I'm about done with MLB at this point.
Gonzo, can I book you for Thursday? Gonzo?
Yep.
All right, there you go, folks. It's going to be me, Gonzo, and it's going to be your boy, Logan Landers, talking baseball, football, basketball, everything in between. We're gonna break down some really good stuff for you come Thursday, and I appreciate each and every one of you that stopped by, commented, visited us, saw our stuff. Hey, we appreciate you guys. We're just three guys talking sports. That's all we are, man. Three guys drinking some Hennessy, drinking some Jack, drinking, and I guess Logan Landers probably drinks milk. And we're just three guys drinking, having a good time, and talking sports. And let me tell you something before we go. April 2nd, April 3rd, we are going to be doing WrestleMania live. It's going to be me, Gonzo, Logan, Frankie, and I believe Chris Robinson is going to be there.
All right.
So you're going to see at least 4 or 5 of us. Huh?
We're getting a stacked lineup for the
Yes,
show.
you're going to have at least 4 or 5 of us talking WrestleMania, and we're going to break it all down. And listen, I'm the newbie guy, so if you're a newbie to wrestling, I'm going to be in the court with you asking the crazy questions. If you're an expert to wrestling, if you know everything there is to know about wrestling, I've got Logan, I've got Frankie, I've got Gonzo. I'm sure Chris Robinson must know something about wrestling. We got plenty of people to have a lot of experience. And for you new guys, don't be intimidated to join it, because we got new guys like me to wrestling, and it's going to be a hell of a good time. It's going to be an amazing time.
Chris, that's a hell of a promo he just cut right there. I'll give that a 9 out of 10. I needed some tears in the eyes, Jay, but those were
Hey, listen, I'll be honest with you. I have never been involved in wrestling since probably my teen years. And it's good to get back into it, because I see why you guys like it so much. It is a good storyline. It is fun to talk about. It's great to view. And we're going to talk about it April 2nd and April 3rd. We're going to have a hell of a good time, and you don't want to be there. You're going to want to be there. I promise you, because we're going to be talking some serious wrestling. Until next time, unless anybody else has, if you have something to say, raise your hand. If not, hey, listen, guys. I'm sorry for the inconvenience of not having all of the posts correctly. I apologize. But until next time, this is Unscripted. It is what it is. We love what we do. We'll see you guys on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're hiding the court, the diamond in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Hey, guys, I appreciate it. Gonzo, thank you for coming on, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Hey, no problem.
Hit the button, Jay.
I think Thursday, hey, Gonzo, I will get you the topics Wednesday night by 9 p.m. I'll have the topics.
Jay, hit the button. Like Frankie said, the true test is here.
And this has been another story by Weirdos or Us or Jackass or Us.
See, this is what we've told